Hello, dear listeners. We are the AI voice of the Shenzhen Leopards men's basketball team.
Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Today, we're taking a close look, a real deep dive, into the burgeoning career of one of our exciting young talents, Wang Haoran.
Yeah, our goal is to go beyond just the headlines and the box scores, We want to really understand what's fueling his rise.
Exactly.
We've gathered news reports, statistical analyses, official league data, basically trying to piece together a comprehensive picture of this very promising player.
Right. We want to explore his whole journey from, early recognition in youth competitions right up to his current role with us, the Shenzhen Leopards.
And ultimately, what his potential might be. What's his ceiling in the landscape of Chinese basketball?
Think of this as your shortcut, your inside scoop on a player you'll likely be hearing a lot more about. Okay, let's get into it.
It's interesting, isn't it? Wang Haoran. It's a pretty common name in China.
Right.
But this particular young man is, well, he's starting to make that name stand out, synonymous with high potential in Chinese basketball. You just have to look at his performance at the 2023 U19 World Cup in Hungary.
Absolutely. That tournament really felt like a coming out party for him on the international stage, especially that game against the USA U19 team.
That's the one.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Okay, so the team didn't win, but Wang Haoran, he topped the scoring charts for China with 20 points.
Impressive.
And he added 6 rebounds, 3 assists. He essentially outplayed several American players who, let's be honest, probably came into that tournament with more hype around them.
Yeah, putting up numbers like that against a powerhouse like the United States at the youth level, that's a significant indicator of talent. It really is.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it?
It does. Some reports were asking, who was the last Chinese youth player to score 20 against the U.S.? They mentioned Xu Young, which suggests it's pretty rare.
And it wasn't just the stats, was it?
Yeah.
He had that highlight reel one-handed dunk in that game.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Showcased some serious athleticism for his size.
Speaking of size, let's pin down the basics.
Yeah.
Wang Haoran hails from Zhongshan, Guangdong.
Right.
And stands tall at 205 centimeters. That's about 6'9", give or take. He came up through our own Shenzhen youth program.
And we can trace that early development. He played in the second National Youth Games back in 2019, representing Shenzhen's U16 team. He was a key player, primarily playing as a forward.
Right.
Then later, 2021, the Shaanxi National Games U19 qualifiers. He was part of the Guangdong squad there. Interestingly, at that stage, while he was definitely a valuable contributor, he wasn't necessarily the main focal point, not compared to some teammates like Sun Hokin, Peng Thanao, Zhu Jin, Zhang Hao, Minji. They were maybe getting more attention then.
So it sounds like he wasn't always the absolute headline grabber in his age group, but his progress, his steady improvement was clearly being noticed.
Exactly. Then came 2022. That was a pretty pivotal year. He was selected as a main power forward for the U18 national youth team.
Right, for the Asian Youth Championship.
Yeah. Now, that particular U18 team, they had high expectations. China usually does well in that tournament.
True.
So their third place finish, well, many saw it as a bit of an underachievement.
Okay, why was that?
Well, sources point to a weakness in their guard play. It apparently became really evident in the semifinal loss to Korea. And this was despite Wang Haoran having a strong game against Korea earlier in the group stage, scored 18 points then. But the team struggled with their backcourt when it really counted.
Right, so even within a slightly disappointing team result, Wang Haoran himself was showing flashes of that individual potential.
Definitely. And following that U18 Asian Championship, his trajectory just kept pointing upwards. He earned a promotion to our first team, the Shenzhen Leopards.
Big step.
Huge step. Now, initially, playing time in the CBA, well, it was limited. It's a tough league.
Of course.
But he continued to excel at his own age level. He actually won the scoring title in the U19 Youth League in December 2022. That really highlighted his offensive punch within his peer group.
So scoring wasn't the issue at the youth level?
Not at all. And this seems to be a key point in his development where we see a likely positional shift starting.
Okay.
At 205 centimeters, playing power forward full-time in the pro league against bigger, stronger guys, it's demanding.
Right.
So evidence suggests he began transitioning, playing more like a small forward, maybe a combo forward, using his size, but also developing those perimeter skills.
That makes sense. Adaptability is key.
Totally. And this shift, it seems like it gained momentum in that 2022 U19 Youth League and really solidified at the 2023 U19 World Cup we mentioned earlier.
And his overall performance at that World Cup, that really cemented his status as a player to watch closely. Across 7 games, he was playing big minutes over 32 a game.
Yeah.
Averaging, 11.6 points, 5.6 rebounds, and 2.6 assists. Pretty solid numbers.
Very solid, and reports consistently praise his competitiveness, his strong drive, his natural athleticism, but also, importantly, his approach to becoming a more complete player.
He's not just relying on physical gifts then.
Not at all. He's actively working to expand his offensive game, developing the mid-range shot, the long-range shot.
Crucial in today's game.
Absolutely. And also his efforts to improve his playmaking, particularly from the free throw line area, trying to break down zone defenses. That shows a real commitment to evolving beyond just being a scorer.
We saw more evidence of that progress later, didn't we? In the July CBA Summer League in Qingdao.
Yes, playing for Shenzhen there. He logged huge minutes average of 39 per game.
Wow.
And the stats were very encouraging. Almost 22 points a game, 6 rebounds, nearly 3 assists, and almost 2 steals. That really screamed, okay, this guy is ready for a bigger role.
Definitely knocking on the door.
Which brings us to his mentorship and development within the Leopards structure. There's that interesting dynamic with the coaching staff.
Right, the incident in January 2024. Coach Zhang Yonggang. Let's just say he wasn't pleased after a defensive mistake by Wang Haoran. It was pretty visible.
Yeah, it was. Highlighted the high standards, didn't it? But, like you said, it's important to see that in context.
Exactly. Yeah. Because fast forward to March of the following year, 2025, after a game against Liaoning, where Wang Haoran led the team with 20 points.
Coach Zhang had very positive things to say then. So it suggests a demanding environment, yes, but ultimately supportive.
Yeah.
Focused on growth.
And that growth got a huge boost, didn't it, when the Leopards missed the playoffs in the 2024-2025 season?
Yeah, there was a clear strategic shift. The team decided, okay, let's invest more playing time in developing our younger guys, and that created a massive opportunity for Wang Haoran.
You really saw it after March 18th, 2025. That coincided with veteran leader Zhu Peng taking a break, moving towards coaching.
And Wang Haoran's minutes just skyrocketed, over 40 minutes per game on average.
Incredible workload.
And his role in the offense, much more prominent. During that stretch, he put up really impressive numbers, averaged 18.7 points, second only to the team's foreign player.
Wow.
Plus 5.3 rebounds, 4.7 assists, ranking him 4th and 2nd on the team in those categories. Big impact.
So if you look at his overall performance during that third stage of the season, like 13 points, 4 rebounds, over 3.5 assists, plus a steal per game.
While shooting pretty decently, too.
Yeah, you see that clear upward trend. It seems directly linked to getting that increased playing time, that experience against top CBA competition.
That's the crucial step, isn't it? Making that leap from dominating youth leagues to really making an impact in the professional game.
Some sources were even drawing parallels, maybe a bit optimistically, but parallels nonetheless, to the development of someone like Jalen Johnson in the NBA.
Interesting comparison, suggesting Wang Haoran could be that kind of impactful, versatile forward for Chinese basketball.
And beyond just scoring, his mindset seems to stand out too. He's quoted as saying he values team success over his own individual stats.
Yeah, that's huge. His stated commitment to the team, his natural inclination to facilitate, to make plays for others, that's significant.
And you saw it in the numbers, right? His assists jumped up after Zhu Peng stepped back from playing.
Absolutely. His assist rate climbed noticeably compared to other guys playing similar positions. It really shows his growing role as a playmaker, not just a scorer.
His role really seems to have evolved then. Maybe initially he was more of a finisher, playing off veterans like Zhu Peng.
Yeah, that sounds right. But as his game has matured, he's clearly taking on more responsibility for creating opportunities himself.
There are even mentions of him being more vocal on the court, directing teammates.
Which speaks volumes about his developing court vision and his tactical understanding, doesn't it?
Definitely. And you just can't talk about his development without talking about Zhu Peng's influence.
No, absolutely not. There's a real consensus in basketball circles here that Zhu Peng's style, that smart, versatile, exemplary play, is just the perfect model for young domestic forwards to learn from.
And people are seeing similarities already.
Yeah, we hear that Wang Haoran is already showing similarities in technique, in court awareness, even specific things like how he distributes the ball from the top of the key, holding it high, like Zhu Peng often does.
And Wang Haoran himself acknowledges it.
Oh, openly. He talks about Zhu Peng's impact, how he's consciously trying to learn from the veteran's experience, his skills. That mentorship seems absolutely foundational to his growth.
Helping him become more well-rounded, right?
Yeah.
Able to attack the basket effectively with either hand, improving his basketball IQ, alongside the physical tools.
Exactly. Now, while the progress is clear, the sources do point out areas for continued work. His three-point shooting, for instance.
Yeah, hovering around 30%.
Right. Consistency from deep would make him even more dangerous offensively. That's probably a big focus.
And maybe some decision-making.
Yeah, there are observations about occasional, let's call it selection difficulty in open situations. Sometimes maybe not choosing the absolute optimal play compared to a seasoned vet like Zhu Peng.
That's understandable. It comes with experience, that finesse they talk about.
But what's really encouraging is his apparent ability to learn quickly, to learn from mistakes. There's that anecdote about him opting for a shot after maybe turning the ball over in a similar spot earlier.
Shows he's processing, adapting.
Exactly. That learning agility is key. So there's this real sense of anticipation, Watching his continued development under both Zhu Peng, now in that coaching role, and coach Zheng Yongyang.
The comparison to Zhang Fambo's trajectory comes up, suggesting people see significant future potential there.
And Zhu Peng is consistently highlighted as just the ideal mentor for him in this process.
And Coach Zhang's approach, demanding, yes, but ultimately supportive. The fact that Wang Haoran kept getting opportunities even after mistakes.
And then delivered in big games, like that playoff matchup against Liaoning.
It speaks volumes. Plus, Coach Zhang has known him a long time, right? Coached him in youth leagues, national games.
Yeah, there's history there, a consistent guiding hand, and Coach Zhang's focus on fitness, strength, and basketball IQ for young players, it aligns perfectly with where Wang Haoran needs to keep growing.
Okay, let's zoom in on the 2024-2025 season specifically. His third year in the CBA, the jump in his numbers is pretty stark.
It really is. 38 starts, nearly 29 minutes a game, scoring jumped to 11.3 points per game, plus 3.5 rebounds, 2 assists.
And you compare that to his first 2 seasons where the stats were, well, minimal.
Basically negligible, yeah. The growth is undeniable. His shooting percentages, field goal, and three-point also showed improvement.
And a huge factor there, as we said, is Shenzhen's rebuilding phase and the trust placed in him by the new head coach, Zhu Peng.
Yeah, it's a fascinating dynamic, isn't it? Your former teammate, your mentor, now your coach, giving you that opportunity.
There's even that little anecdote about Zhu Peng sort of seeing echoes of his younger self in Wang Haoran's energetic plays.
That's cool. We also get some little personal insights, like his WeChat signature translates to something like facing the sun, grand escape.
Intriguing.
And that story about the do you believe in light question, referencing his childhood love for Ultraman.
Right.
And his optimistic response about chasing that light, it gives you a little glimpse into his mindset, maybe.
Yeah, a positive outlook.
Yeah.
We have those specific game highlights from January 2025 that really show his impact growing.
Against Jilin, a key steal leading to an assist, part of a game where he had 21 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, team high in points.
And then against Nanjing Tongzi, that vital offensive rebound and score.
Followed by the game-saving block from coach Zhu Peng himself.
Talk about a full circle moment.
Exactly. So his key attributes, as a 2.005 meter forward, the mobility, the three-point potential, even if it needs work, the rebounding, the knack for steals, they're all becoming more obvious, more impactful.
And under Zhu Peng's guidance, he's evolving into that versatile forward role they hoped for. A real threat attacking the basket, too.
And his eagerness to learn is still there. Remember that post-game chat with Zhu Peng after the Tongji win?
Yeah, seeking feedback on a shot choice, even after a victory.
That shows real commitment. And he takes responsibility, too. Apparently, he really regretted a couple of late turnovers that contributed to a loss against Shaanxi.
Shows maturity, accountability.
But again, that bounce-back ability. The very next game demonstrates he learned from it, gets a steal off a missed free throw, quick layup, turning a potential negative situation into points.
It's also worth remembering his path, isn't it? Starting at the Shenzhen Sports School, aged just 10.
Yeah, then the youth team at 14, first team at 18, that's dedication, especially in a super competitive basketball environment like Guangdong.
No wonder he was ranked first in the most improved player race for a good chunk of that 2024-2025 season.
Right, and among the domestic players on the roster, his scoring average was only behind the established guys He Zining and, well, Zhu Peng.
Let's touch on his background a bit more. Born in Xiaolantown, Zhongshan, Guangdong, 2004.
And he comes from serious basketball stock, doesn't he?
Yeah, grandfather and grandmother both played at the provincial level. Parents had pro training too, it's in the blood.
Definitely. And some fun childhood stories too. Apparently he was a chubby kid until about age 12.
Really?
Yeah. His dad used Ultraman DVDs as rewards for training. He practiced on outdoor courts near his mom's work.
That's great. And the story about his first basketball? his dad's quiet support.
Very touching. And shows his ambition early on, asking his mom at a red light about introducing himself for the NBA draft.
Got to dream big.
Absolutely. It's also mentioned he did well in school academically.
Often a good sign for understanding the game.
Could be. His time at the Shenzhen Sports School summer camp, getting into the Longgang foreign language school while training, shows a balanced approach.
He talks about leaving home early for basketball. Sounds like he's quite grounded, preferring to stay home during breaks, like Spring Festival.
Yeah. And the image of him eagerly waiting for the school bus as a young boarder and playing through a hand fracture, that just screams dedication.
Now, we have to reiterate those youth national team highlights. The 18 points against Korea in the U18.
And leading the scoring against the USA at the U19 World Cup, those are significant markers.
Even though his initial CBA minutes were limited, which is understandable with guys like Zhu Peng and Gu Quan ahead of him.
That time was probably invaluable for learning. He speaks respectfully about both of them, absorbing lessons.
Sure, he probably felt impatient at times, wanting more playing time.
Which is totally natural for a young, ambitious player. But his confidence clearly grew as those opportunities came.
And his description of Zhu Peng's coaching style, strict on the court, supportive of it, giving technical and life lessons.
Yeah, really paints a picture of that crucial mentor-mentee bond. Playing alongside him in the fourth quarter, getting real-time coaching. That's gold.
It's also kind of funny learning his MBTI as an I person, an introvert.
Right, and his joke about being an E-person's toy, a contrast to the competitor you see on the court.
He seems very focused on the present, on his development now. His dreams are evolving beyond just making the national team, that Nizam movie reference about limitless potential.
Yeah, that's a powerful way to look at it. And of course, getting picked for the 2024 CBA All-Star Rookie Challenge and the national team training camp in June 24, those are big validations.
Okay, let's nail down some of the official physical data. The league's white paper for 2024-25 has him at 20 years old.
Height 203 centimeters, weight 98 kilograms. So slightly different height listed there than the 205 centimeter mentioned elsewhere, but these things can vary slightly in reporting.
True. Other sources give a standing reach of 268 centimeters, wingspan 205 centimeters, vertical jump 325 centimeter standing, 338 centimeter approach.
Solid athletic base, definitely. The kind of numbers you expect for a pro forward.
And the official CBA website confirms his birthday, November 2nd, 2004, lists him as #33 power forward for Shenzhen Marco Polo.
Though he's also worn #1 and #13 before.
Right. And the stats on the CBA site really show that season-by-season improvement we've been talking about. Games, starts, minutes, points, rebounds, assists, shooting percentages, all trending up significantly in 24-25.
That white paper adds a bit more bioinfo too. Confirms birth date, Han ethnicity, Shenzhen youth team. Lists him as having 3 years with the team.
But it lists his birthplace as Hebei Zunhua.
Yeah, that's different from the Zhongshan Guangdong info we saw elsewhere. It's a discrepancy worth noting, sometimes happens with official records. No need to speculate, just acknowledge it.
Got it. The white paper also logs his career highs in regular season games, points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, and the dates, and mentions him leading the most improved player race at one point.
Plus, it lists his achievements. Gold with Guangdong U19 at the National Games in 21.
U18 Asian Championship participation in 22.
Gold with Shenzhen at the Guangdong Provincial Games in 23.
U19 World Cup team in 23.
And the 2024 All-Star Rookie Challenge and National Team Camp selections. It's a pretty packed resume already for a young player.
So, wrapping it all up, Wang Haoran's journey so far is really a compelling story, isn't it? Growth fueled by getting that opportunity, putting in the hard work, and crucially having that invaluable mentorship.
Absolutely. His progress, especially in this past season, really underscores his potential, and the guidance from someone like Zhu Peng, as both a teammate and now a coach, seems like such a key ingredient.
It really makes you think about that development path for young athletes. Where could Wang Haoran go from here? What impact could he have on Chinese basketball? It's definitely a story we'll be following closely.
For sure. Lots of potential there.
In our next episode, we'll continue exploring the story of the Shenzhen Leopards, from the team's history and player profiles to youth training tales and record-breaking achievements. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll be waiting for you.